What's good, y'all? It's your guy Bendu, and I'm coming at y'all with another video today, man. So today I want to talk about this. I gotta talk about this Biden fuckery. All the bullshit that's been going on with him. We already knew what it was going to be. Us. People of the like mind or wise mind, such as myself. Not to toot my own horn there. We told you Joe Biden was going to be bullshit, and it's not because we were rubbing our crystal balls. I did. That kind of came out weird, but it's not like we're fucking clairvoyant or some shit. We're looking at this bastard's fucking history and telling you what it's going to be. Like, if somebody tells you who the fuck they are, believe them. Fucking believe them. So, this motherfucker ran his campaign on bringing back the soul of the nation and ending Trump era policies. Well, one of those policies he was talking about ending was the border situation going on down there. Now, we all know with the border crisis and them kids still in cages, but now they're migrant facilities all of a sudden. Yeah, still mass deportation numbers under Biden. I'm gonna put my money on Jimmy Dore's bet as well, that I guarantee you he's going to end up having more deportations than Trump's first term. Biden is going to end up having more deportations in his first term than Trump. I guarantee you. I promise you. But what I want to talk about today, especially for a lot of these Trump supporters out there as well, this is going to y'all too, but to the Biden supporters as well, he's still doing this bullshit that Trump was doing. So this is from Politico and is written by Anita Kumar. Biden promised to stop seizing border wall land. His Department of Justice is still doing it. The administration has passed a self-imposed 60-day deadline to review resources for the wall, and it's still taking land for it. Despite Joe Biden's promise to quickly reverse Trump immigration policies, he has yet to act on many of them, from failing to increase the cap on refugees to rescinding a ban on most migrants at the southern border. But fewer issues carry as much symbolic weight as the border wall. Nearly 3 months into office, so this is 3 months. Nearly 3 months into office, Joe Biden's administration is seizing land near the southern border, fueling fears that the government will continue building one of the most enduring symbols of Donald Trump's presidency, a border wall. Because as those of us that knew this, Joe Biden was in favor of a fence, but fuck it. This orange motherfucker started building the walls. I'm just going to finish that. This week, the United States government seized 6 acres from a family in Hidalgo County, Texas, the result of a Trump-era court case designed to help construct the border wall. So that's for you Trump supporters out there. He's literally confiscating land like communist China, like the Chinese Communist Party, like it's the Soviet Union, to which, I'm not saying that in a disparaging way towards China. I'm actually saying that in a, what's the word that I don't want to use? Hyperbolic manner, I guess that would be the word for it. I don't know. I'm bad with fucking shit. But this is the type of shit that Donald Trump is doing. He was literally seizing Americans' land to build this bullshit border wall that's not going to help anyway. Instead of actually changing your foreign policy, like, I don't know, maybe not, talk about invading Venezuela or putting these crushing economic sanctions on them, putting embargoes on countries like Cuba, cooing countries like Honduras, Ecuador, Bolivia, whatever it is. How about you stop doing that shit? How about you stop doing that? That'll, I think that would drastically reduce numbers. Stop crafting these bullshit trade deals that you were supposed to be against that forces Mexican migrants to come here, because basically their work as farmers are basically rendered worthless because of our trade deals. How about you stop doing that shit? But no, we're gonna fearmonger about immigrants, which he did. And it's like, I'm gonna give my personal opinions on the border crisis and just migrants as a whole at the end of this. So I'm gonna go ahead and get back into the article. The Biden administration never withdrew from or asked to dismiss the case, according to documents and interviews. Administration officials say they didn't do so because they are still in the midst of a federal review of federal resources used to build the wall. But that review, which was put into place through a proclamation Biden signed on his first day in office, was supposed to be finished by March 20th. And officials have offered no timetable for its completion. I'm very, very disappointed in Joe Biden. I thought he was a man of his word. You obviously don't know fucking Joe Biden. You obviously don't know Joe Biden. We're gonna give you a public option. No, we're not. Oh, we're gonna give you $2,000. Well, actually $1,400 because Trump already gave you 600. Yeah, fuck. Yeah, you obviously don't know Joe Biden. Um, but apparently he's not keeping his word. I could have told you that, Ronaldo. Ronaldo Ray and Anzaldúa Cavazos, a member of the family whose land was taken, told Politico, he said not one more foot of wall and no land forfeitures. We took him at his word, and we want him to keep his word. And also to the I'm like, this is the type of shit that Trump was pissing off a lot of his base. You feel me? So it was like the fact that he lost the election. Like, I'm not surprised by that, because he was doing shit like this. He was doing shit that contradicted people that actually voted for him. But nobody's talking about these stories because everybody just wants to prop up their favorite, their favorite president, rapist president. And it's like, it's it kind of sucks because these people are just left out, to fend for themselves. It's basically a giant fuck you. We don't care. And it's like the whole point of the border obviously was to cut people coming, illegals coming into the country, but also to stop the violence around, these people's neighborhoods and, where they live and shit like that. Well, if you're just stealing their land, like the government's literally stealing their land to build this dumbass wall. Despite Biden's promise to quickly, but they're going to shit on Biden for doing it, which as they should. But I'm saying shit on Trump for that shit too. Trump started this shit. Despite Biden's promise to quickly reverse Trump's immigration policies, he has yet to act on many of them, from failing to increase the cap on refugees to rescinding a ban on most migrants at the southern border. But fewer issues carry as much symbolic weight as the border wall, and his actions there threaten to further complicate his pledge to offer a kinder, gentler immigration system where everyone is welcome. Yeah, that's bullshit. Reparations is a term that's thrown around for black people, and I'm probably about to piss a lot of black people off when I say this. How about you take the billions of dollars we give to Israel and all, to all these other countries to wage war? How about you take that and give it to these fucking Latin American countries that you fucking decimated, as well as these African countries, and to the black Americans that live here? But there's a lot of people in this world that deserve reparations, and black people, in my opinion, are first in that line. But I think close behind that is Latin America, because first of all, colonialism and slavery was the beginning of it, when they basically came in and genocided the native indigenous people living on those islands. But then, in those countries, but then it continued with imperialism. Cooing their leaders, killing their democratically elected leaders, who wanted to reap the benefits of their economy for the people. They want the economy to be in favor of the everyday working class person, but they can't have that because the United States wants that country's economy to reap the benefit of American corporations. So, but fewer issues carry as much symbolic weight as the border wall, and his actions there threaten to further complicate his play. Okay, I read it already. My bad. They can all have the excuse. They can have all the excuses they want, but it's real dicey to look at what they're doing right now, said a person who consults with the White House on immigration policy, who has grown frustrated. Quote, this is important. It's a lot of the stuff Trump was doing. It's not a lot of, it's basically the same thing. It's the same thing. And why is it the same thing? Because this is the border policy that Barack Obama and Joe Biden crafted. And as Obama recently said, Joe Biden is going to continue his legacy. Joe Biden is going to continue his legacy of this horrific border immigration policy. He's going to continue Obama's legacy of illegally bombing Muslim countries. He's going to continue his legacy of fucking over working class Americans to favor the big banks and corporations. I don't get how, Trump's an asshole. Trump's a piece of shit. Trump was doing this shit too. But you cannot, talk about this without putting it into context on how Barack Obama and Joe Biden were the crafters of this border, these border policies that Trump basically took, and ran even further with it. But they're the crafters and originators of it. So when he says it's a lot of the stuff Trump was doing, yeah, it is, because it's the same shit him and Obama was doing. Trump completed more than 400 miles of a wall along the southern border before he left office, in large part by invoking an emergency declaration that allowed him to divert money from the Pentagon budget in 2019 and 2020 to pay for construction. That's why the Pentagon doesn't fuck with him, too. To pay for construction of 4 locations along the Mexican border. About 140 eminent domain cases, which allowed the federal government to acquire private land for public use, remain active along the Texas border in South Texas, according to the Texas Civil Rights Project, which represents a handful of families, including the Cavazos family. So, again, this hallmark of capital, that we like to put onto communists and socialists of confiscating land and all this shit. Here we are doing it to serve capitalism. So that type of thing isn't just inherent to communists. They like to paint it that way to, make communism out to be this evil thing and socialism out to be this evil thing, where most people don't even understand socialism and communism. If you actually talk to them about it, most people haven't read a word of Marx or Engels. They literally just have heard what people have said about Marx and Engels, and they just run with it, literally. Biden said in an interview a few months before the November election that he would not only not build another foot of wall, but he would end those eminent domain cases too. End. Stop. Done. Over. Not going to do it. Withdraw the lawsuits. We're out. We're going to confiscate the land, Biden told NPR in August. But Biden's administration has not withdrawn from Trump court cases to seize land for the wall. It has even conceded that the wall could continue to be built or modified. After Biden was sworn into office, activists along the border sent a letter to him and his team urging them to immediately dismiss all eminent domain cases. I bet you AOC and Ro Khanna and the squad and all of them also sent a letter as well. A very strongly worded letter. Some of the cases are still in the early stages where property was being reviewed. Other cases pertain to possible compensation for property that has already been seized. Customs and Border Protection spokesperson said CBP and the Army Corps of Engineers have suspended surveys, negotiations with landowners, and similar real estate acquisition activities in accordance with the president's proclamation. But the spokesperson referred to questions about litigation to the Department of Justice. The Cavazos, whose extended family arrived in the area more than 200 years ago, have been fighting the federal government to try to keep the land that's been in their family since the 1950s. They pushed back on the Bush and Obama administrations and went to the courts to fend off attempts by the Trump administration to seize part of their 77-acre ranch through eminent domain. They're arguing that because the administration has not said anything clearly or plainly that they can continue to do this, Lopez said. And this is the Weasley way. They still allow corporatism to reign free. This is what they did. This is the same shit Obama did. Well, I didn't exactly say this, or they word it in the most sleaze bag ways possible to continue to do shit like this. Family members are now expecting the government to try to use their land to fill in a gap in the border wall. They are asking for it back and accusing the president of breaking his promises. I thought when he said no more wall that we would get no more wall, but apparently not, another family member, Jose Alfredo Cavazos told Politico. He decided to turn around and do something about finishing the wall, so we are very disappointed. We thought a lot of this was over when Biden came in, and it's incredibly disheartening to learn today that they apparently appear to be going forward, said Jeffrey Glassberg, president of the North American Butterfly Association, which owns land near to the Cavazos family and has fought the border wall. They could stop it at any time, especially Biden can. Biden can stop this, but he's not going to. So I'm going to link the full article below because I only covered part of it. But yeah, meet the new boss, same as the old boss. That's literally what Joe Biden is. He literally told you nothing will fundamentally change. And you dipshit shit lips still went out there and voted for him and shamed other people who refused to, for that very same reason. This is why I don't believe in electoral politics anymore, man, because you're not going to get the person you want in there because there's too much money being thrown around, and it's going to take shit outside of politics to get stuff done. And that's just what it's going to have to be. So I'm going to go ahead and close the video out there, guys. As always, thanks for tuning in and showing love. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. Emphasis on all that because y'all know YouTube like keeping me down. They like keeping the independent media down. But we going to rise up. Where my dogs at? RIP X, RIP DMX. But But yeah, so definitely look out on my Patreon. I'm gonna link that below too, but look out for that. And I'm gonna post about it when I post stuff on there, but I'm gonna be posting shit on there soon, 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 soon. So definitely look out for it. And yeah, thanks for tuning in. Peace.